Hey everyone, as you may know, I ended up playing healer for this Savage tier, and it was the first time that I procced a new raid tier on healer. Now, it wasn't my first time healing Savage, because I've done that a few times before, but that was always way later into the tier, at a point where my group was familiar with the fights, and where we were mostly best in slot. So it was a very different experience. Can play safe, because damage doesn't really matter, and even if someone was to die, it's not that bad either, as long as they're up for the next mechanic. So it's a lot more chill, but I've always wanted to heal proc at some point, as that was the only role that I've never procced a raid tier on, because I've done all 3 DPS roles and tank plenty of times before, but me playing healer has always been a bit of a meme within my raid group, and I honestly don't remember how it became a meme. So every time that we would decide on what jobs we were going to play for the next raid tier, I would always go, I want to go healer, but then I would end up not playing it. But this time around, the person that normally plays regen healer in our group really wanted to go DPS. So as per usual, I was like, I can heal, and this time we actually decided to go for it, and it's been quite fun. Certainly chose a good tier to start healing as well, as all of the tank busters leave a nasty dot on both your tanks, and the final fight was so difficult that it had to get nerfed 2 weeks after release, but this just made it all the more satisfying when we did end up getting that week 1 clear. And it also gave me a bit of a confidence boost, because while I'm very confident in healing dungeons, I don't know why, but whenever I try and heal 8-man stuff, I always feel like I wouldn't be doing a good job. Maybe it has to do with the fact that in a dungeon you're the sole healer and everything is in your control, but when you're doing 8-man stuff, you need to work together with your co-healer. And I feel like I've always just tried to heal too much, kind of like as if I'm still the only healer there like in a dungeon, because when we were going through proc, my co-healer was often telling me to not heal as much as they were sitting on resources. But it's been a few weeks now, we also did some optimization for P5S, and later this week we'll be doing the same for P6, and I'm kinda getting the hang of things, I guess you could say. Still a lot of scenarios where my inexperience as a healer shows, as I have often trouble trying to save a pull, but that's also something that you'll only learn by doing, so hopefully as we continue to do weeklies and some optimization runs, I can get more used to healing in this full party scenario. Certainly been a lot of fun, as I enjoy the teamwork that is present in Final Fantasy XIV, because it's a team game after all, and when you play DPS, I feel like it's more about your personal performance rather than working together as a team, because the only thing that you really contribute to the team is the occasional feint or addle or what have you. And while I get it that you got your raid buffs to bring to the party as well, in most cases you just press them on cooldown or in whatever place you decided to like save them for after a specific mechanic or something, and that's it. You're more focused on what you are doing yourself than whatever else is going on in the fight. As a tank, you get to work with your team a little bit more, as you get slightly more mitigation tools, and then you also might have to coordinate with your co-tank how you want to handle tank busters and boss positioning and such, but healer is definitely another step up from that, and it kind of reflects in your DPS rotations as well. As a DPS, you will most likely have a fairly intense DPS rotation, so you can mostly focus on that. As a tank, your rotation is a bit easier than that of a normal DPS, but you get some extra responsibilities, and then as a healer you have a very bare bones DPS kit, which then opens up brain space to think about all the healing cooldowns that you want to coordinate with your co-healer. While proc was fun, I definitely enjoyed our optimization run of P5S the most so far, as that is when we could really go into the teamwork a lot more than we did during proc. During proc, things are usually all over the place, as you're still learning the fights and seeing where certain tools might be used the best, and that leads to different pulls, having different cooldowns in different places, and then you just end up healing what is needed when you're missing something. But once you get to optimize a fight, you can have a proper talk about how you want to use your cooldowns, and you also have more time during the fight to talk about those things, as you don't really have to talk about mechanics as much as during proc. And I really enjoyed the feeling of planning your stuff properly and then making it through the whole fight without having to use any unnecessary healing. Maybe there might still be like some unnecessary healing, but no healing that would lead to a DPS loss, like me having to shield instead of pressing my DPS button when the shield isn't needed. That kind of stuff is what I guess I'm trying to say. So I'm really looking forward to getting to optimize the rest of the fights as well. P8 might have to wait a little bit as we need more gear to properly optimize that one, but I guess we still have like at least 3 weeks to go before we get there anyways, and by that time most people will be close to best in slot, so that shouldn't be an issue. I guess to summarize it, certainly had a good first time healer experience, and I'm looking forward to improving over the next few weeks. Can definitely recommend others to try it as well, because I've always been a bit hesitant to try it out, as I never felt that confident on healer, but it's certainly not as hard as I always imagined it would be in my head. I do think I wouldn't enjoy playing it as much in a party finder scenario, as I would like to be able to communicate with my co-healer and maybe the tanks as well, but in an environment where that is possible, it's certainly been a good experience, and I would love to do it more. So those are kind of my thoughts on my first proc healer experience. Let me know what your first healer experience was like, or if you've never played healer before, let me know why that is. And with that, I want to thank you for watching, I want to thank my Patreons for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.